All right. So, as some of you know, that there's actually two petitions that are attempting to recall Gavin Newsom, and one of them's from Aaron Cruz, and that was the first one that I signed as soon as I heard about that, which was last October. And at that time, I kind of heard about Dr. Veltmeyer out in San Diego, or actually La Jolla, um, and how he started his own petition to recall Gavin Newsom. So now there's two attempts to recall Gavin Newsom. And today I actually went on his website, Dr. Veltmeyer's website, uh, and just to find out more about him, because a couple months ago I heard him on some interview out on the news that he immigrated here to the U.S. and he's a well-known doctor. And what he doesn't like is now California is a third world country, basically allowing illegal immigration here. And thanks to Gavin Newsom, uh, he's making this, or Gavin Newsom carried on what Jerry Brown did as far as making this a sanctuary state. And I know there's both on Aaron Cruz's part and Dr. Veltmeyer's part, there's different objectives, but in the end, I support them both in what they're doing, and I signed them both. And finally, I signed Dr. Veltmeyer's petition and sent it off. So I firmly agree with what he said on that, on his stance on illegal immigration. And I know that's a big debate right now in the whole U.S. And for me, that's not, everyone likes to make this a big race thing. And, oh, yeah, that's racist. And, the walls is a symbol of hate. And why are you separating all these families? Now, for me, I disregard all that. I think it's just a lot of garbage that the media puts in the people's minds. Um, Really, like I speak from experience. For me, I'm 100% Filipino. So my parents, they immigrated here back in the 70s. My deceased parents, they immigrated back in the 70s, and also my siblings came with them. But I do recall when my father was explaining the process that he had to come here to the U.S. and he was basically just busting his ass and taking whatever jobs. So hopefully he could support the rest of my family, and as far as coming over here to the U.S. But if I remember correctly, he said something about it took about a few years before the rest of my family came over to the U.S. So basically, he was here by himself. He just balls to the wall. He went over here by himself, pretty much, and he was just finding ways to survive, and in order to bring the rest of my family here to the U.S. But I don't know the exact details. The bottom line is that it took a few years, and when my mother and my siblings finally came, I remember her saying that she had to bust her ass too to provide for the rest of the family, and this was before I was born, years before I was born, actually. Um, but the whole point of that, and I have a lot of foreign friends who are still trying to get here in the U.S. And even this has been happening for a number of years now. I've ran into a number of people, places like Russia or in the Philippines, and it takes years, or it took them years before they even had a taste of the green card. So my point is, with all this illegal immigration stuff, I think it's really just a bunch of bullshit, because I just don't agree with people bypassing with uh, what the government has to make other people go through in the legal way. And especially that's a spit in the face of my parents, my family too, and also with the rest of my relatives who had to immigrate here from the Philippines. Uh, it took time. It didn't just sneak into the U.S. and go undercover and try to bypass all the laws. They actually went through the whole process, the whole grueling process, which took years and years and money to do before they could even get in here, and not to mention years later where they had to become successful. So that's my take on that. I mean, so I'm sure people who are watching this video, they're probably thinking, well, Chris, you're full of it. Well, no, I don't think that I'm full of it. I mean, I'm just telling you from the experience. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who agree that I think this whole illegal immigration thing it's a bunch of nonsense. And it's really a piss and a spit in the face of people who are willing to go through the process legally